In 1902, the Austrian novelist, poet, folk historian, and philosopher Guido von List underwent cataract surgery. He was blind for almost a year. Like Hitler, over 15 years later, himself blinded by mustard gas during World War I, it was during this period of darkness that he received his greatest illumination. It was an experience that would transform his life, and that would later have an indirect effect on Hitler. That's from Chapter 2, Volk Magic, in Peter Levenda's great work, Unholy Alliance, A History of Nazi Involvement with the Occult. This is a continuum book. It's an excellent read. Hopefully I will have Peter Levenda himself on my Blog Talk Radio show this coming Friday, March 25th, from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Peter Levenda on blogtalkradio.com/The Stench of Truth. He was traveling out of the country. Hopefully he will have returned safely and be in attendance for the show this Friday. So join us for some fascinating discussion on the Nazis, the occult, and sinister forces. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I want to make a few comments here regarding what's going on in Libya. I want you to take note, and I want you to note very well how this developed. It seemed as though the rebels were in pretty good control in Libya after they sort of got organized into a ragtag army, as it were, and they had pushed Gaddafi's forces pretty far and had taken over a good portion of the country. And that was the point at which it was decided to have a vote on a no-fly zone. And also remember, if you will, that the United States, in the form of our State Department and the military and Obama/Sotoro at the top, were very non-committal and were not expressing any desire to move in this direction right up until the last possible moment. Now, who were the people who were really agitating for this activity? It was primarily the French under Sarkozy and some elements within Britain. So, what this reveals to me is that the United States largely still takes its marching orders from the old line European, whatever you want to call it, the Illuminati, the rulers, the powers that be behind the scenes, etc. The same people that have been ruling the world's imperiums for centuries, millennia even, because they got told what to do and they did what they were told and voted for this, and now we are sending Tomahawk missiles and Predator drones and all that other wonderful, fantastic technology of death and murder. And just so there is no confusion whatsoever, let it not be said that in any way, shape, or form, George Bush is responsible for Libya. This is entirely an Obama fiasco. Why, I ask you, are we involved in anything overseas, let alone in any country that has absolutely no bearing on anything that is going on here in the United States? Especially at a time like this, when things are so bad for so many here at home. Why? Because it is to serve a global agenda. I don't really know exactly what is going on in Libya and what particular things are happening there to drive this action and this activity against Gaddafi, while in Yemen protesters are being killed by snipers, Bahrain is being invaded by Saudi forces, and Syria is in uprising. And a lot of other countries, facing similar kinds of oppressive activity by oppressive regimes. And we are not interfering, as we should not be. And we should not be in Libya either. And famous last words spoken, no ground forces in Libya. Famous last words. We shall see. We shall see. Supposedly we're going to be handing this whole entire fiasco charade over to other forces after this initial pounding is over. But again, we shall see, won't we? Because Iraq was supposed to be a cakewalk. And similarly, Afghanistan has turned into a long war. Coincidentally, exactly what Gaddafi is promising in Libya. So there is some sort of globalist machinations going on over there, and that is why we have been forced to do this. Our administration, probably just Obama, because he is eminently blackmailable for any number of reasons. And that might explain why there was such a non-committal stance from the State Department and the military regarding this particular action right up until the last possible minute, and Obama made his choice. So, what could it be? Maybe Gaddafi was leaning towards China and Russia in some sort of, mutual agreement that would go against the Anglo-American French axis, as it were. I don't know, but whatever it is, it caused them to get up in a ruckus. Now, in closing, I just want to say that not only should we not be involved in Libya, but we should be out of Iraq, out of Afghanistan, and we should not have any troops in Korea or anywhere else where we have giant bases filled with people who are only there to serve as an extension of American imperialism. I say bring all the troops home. And I want to know where the peaceniks and the anti-war folks are now, because now you no longer have a war that is handed over from a previous administration that you can go back and pin on George Bush, as horrid and as filthy and as wretched as he was. He cannot be connected to Libya. This now is an entirely Obama fiasco. So, where are you anti-war? Where are you peace activists? That is the question I have today. Where are you? Oh, and one final note. For all of you who are worried about radiation from the Fukushima nuclear disaster over in Japan, you might be happy to know that InfoWars, under the great and marvelous Alex Jones, secured a large amount of potassium iodide and are willing to sell it to you at double the price. That's just part of the service that Alex Jones is doing, fighting the New World Order. Actually, getting rich and preying upon people's fears. And you can see it plastered all over his websites. And this is just another example of him taking advantage of a bad situation, in much the same fashion as he would ridicule Rahm Emanuel and Obama and others for taking advantage of bad situations in order to foster an agenda. And in his case, it is pure greed. Just some food for thought for all of you Alex Jones followers out there. Thank you. Good night.